It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. My name is Candace Gish. If this is your very first time tuning into the Divas, a huge welcome. We're so excited that you've joined us today. We're going to be welcoming on a brand new diva to our family. If you have been with us for the last 12 years, thank you so much. It's because of all of you guys that we're able to continue to do this amazing program and interview women from around the world. So I'm always excited about that. If you want to check out any of our other hosts, make sure you go to divasthatcare.com and you can check them out. All right, as I said, today we're going to be welcoming a brand new diva to our family, the inspiring Jenny Powers. Jenny, welcome to the Divas That Care.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. This is such an honor, and I'm so excited to be a part of this community, and I'm excited to spend some time together.
I'm excited. You know, you and I have been able to talk prior to our show. We had the opportunity just to meet and greet, and I really was inspired by you, and I was so excited about today's program because of that. And so, Jenny, would you mind kind of introducing yourself to our listeners today?
Not at all. So my name is Jenny Powers. I currently live in New York City. I'm originally from a really small town in Massachusetts. I am the founder of a company called The Empowered Woman. I'm an author and a speaker and a transformational life coach. I wrote a book called Empowered, The Woman's Guide to Following Your Heart. And I am on a mission to transform this world by awakening every woman to her best self. So I am incredibly passionate. Candace, I know we connected immediately when we met. We have a very similar mission and a lot of similarities in terms of, our passion and our desire to help women, to inspire women, to empower women. So that's kind of my global mission. I have a boyfriend. I have 2 little boys. And I am just a woman who is 100% committed to living the best life that I can live and to, connecting women worldwide and inspiring all of us to live our best lives. So that's the quick snapshot of me, my purpose, and kind of what I'm here to do.
I love it. You are. And for all of our listeners, Jenny is absolutely amazing. I was blown away when we had the opportunity to connect, and it's that instant connection that you and I had, and it was awesome. Like, I honestly thought, this is my soul sister, and here we go, let's rock it. You have an amazing program, The Empowered Woman, and you had mentioned that. I love that. I want to talk more about that because you've got a thing called the 100 Days of You. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. So, I have a transformational program called 100 Days of You, which is basically a 3-month program, 100 days. So in my book, my book is 100 guiding truths. Each page is a standalone page of kind of guiding truths that I feel like I'm 45. I feel like I wrote it a few years ago, but these are things that I've learned along the way as I followed my own heart. And I kind of wanted to put them in a book to share, to kind of help women everywhere. Hey, if I've fallen down 11 times and I can help you to fall down fewer times, or to learn or to thrive or to grow, I wanted to kind of share from that place. So 100 Days of You sort of came from that book. I then created something called the Empowered Woman Experience, which is a copy of my book. I created a companion workbook, a journal, inspirational quote cards, pens, the whole thing. And then from there, as COVID hit and life became more digital, I decided to pivot, which I think is the word of COVID, pivoting, and created this digital online course, which is basically 100 days of you. It is me as your one-on-one life coach. We have a kickoff kind of grounding call where we get clear on, what do you want? And in a very kind of real time, I think I created a program which in a timeline that I think has suited me. I think sometimes, programs that are a year or 6 months the goals can feel kind of really far away. And I wanted to create something that would be inspiring and kind of, for women to think, hey, in 3 months I can have this thing. So we kind of get clear on what you want. And then we have an hour-long coaching call each week. And then between each coaching call, every day there's a reflective, from my workbook, there's a reflective workbook page. And so I take each of my guiding truths. For example, one is indoor rejection. And so the workbook page would walk you through, there are times in your life where you feel like you've been rejected, what are the first 3 moments that come into your mind? So it's written from a lot of love, with a lot of support, really trying to kind of get into your subconscious, not overthinking, not kind of stressing about the answers, just kind of, what comes up, and then, how can we work through that? So, do you feel like you carry this thought of rejection with you? And then kind of every page ends with a very empowering, like, what are 3 steps you can take to kind of move past these moments and redefine that rejection is not an option? Every door that's closed means that there's, 10 others that will open to you. So that's one example of one truth. There are 100 of those kind of lessons. And so in between each coaching call, you have this 10 to 15 minute workbook page that you do on your own each day. And then we come back on our call each week, and kind of the course is structured where every week has a theme, kind of going after you want, owning your power, creating your mindset, facing challenges and failures, and it's all kind of written, to tackle each theme. And then, each call is just, let's work through this, let's go. And I'm very much committed to, unlocking women's fears, unlocking their dreams, unlocking their desires, and then, taking them from what they think they want, what they know they want, to having what they want.
I love that. And I love that you said it's 100 days. I want to ask you, because a lot of our listeners are probably wondering, okay, why you? Why did you put this together? Why was it important to do this?
Yeah, I think, I feel like this destiny, quite honestly, chose me. It was probably 10 years ago now. I used to live in Los Angeles. I was an actress. I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought, the Empowered Woman, like, that's a great name for our company. My last name is Powers. My middle initial is M. And I kind of thought, the Empowered Woman, that kind of makes sense for me. And I was not an entrepreneur. I was very committed at that point to being an actress. That was my dream. But I kind of thought, it kind of stuck in the back of my mind. I went to look at the domain name. It was unavailable. The next day I got a notice saying the Empowered Woman was available to buy. And I kind of purchased it with no real plan. So that was kind of the inspiration. And from that, I think, I really do love helping women. Like, I love, just in my day-to-day life, inspiring my friends, being a sounding board for them. And I really, I think a lot of it comes from, I grew up kind of feeling very isolated. I always felt like I was the girl that was left out. I was, never a part of the cliques. I was, girls were mean to me, like, not complaining, just owning that I think I felt very isolated and very left out as a child, by girls, and then, sometimes by women, that I think I then, to heal in a way, wanted to create something that had the opposite effect on women, that made women feel included and connected and a part of something bigger than just them in their life, and a community to connect and kind of feel supported and seen.
And I like that. I think it's really important, because it's a journey that a lot of us have gone through. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. We've all kind of gone through something that leads us to needing guidance. I honestly believe that. And I want to ask you, you've mentioned that you've got this journal, you've got the workbook. For any of our listeners, like, is this something that anybody in the world can be a part of? Because obviously, we're in the digital era now and we do a lot of stuff by Zoom. So can anybody in the world join you?
Anybody in the world can join me. If you go to my website, which is jennypowers.com, there's information on 100 Days of You. There's all the, a little bit more, a few more specifics. My Instagram is @JennyEmpowered. The link is in my bio there. And it gives you kind of, pretty much what I've shared, a little more detail. I just think that I wanted something that was universal. And, I think people ask me all the time, coaches, other entrepreneurs, I think we're all sort of asked, what's your niche? What's your avatar? Who's your ideal woman? Mm-hmm. And for me, I think the challenge for me is that I still haven't been able to kind of narrow down a lot of people are, it's this age bracket, it's this demographic. For me, that's never been kind of the woman that I am excited to work with. For me, it's a woman who wants to make a change. It's a woman who is in a place in her life feeling stuck, feeling unsure, feeling trapped, feeling stagnant, feeling like there's more out there for her. And so that could be, a 25-year-old, that could be an 85-year-old, but it's a woman who, is kind of ready to say yes to herself. And so I think that breaks all boundaries in terms of age, demographic, where you live, what you do, who you are.
I love it. I absolutely love everything that you're trying to do with everybody out there. I know that you do this one-on-one, but do you have like group courses, or do you find that it's better to do a one-on-one?
It's a great question. So I originally thought that I originally launched a group program. And that was kind of the idea of it. As I said, I'm very big on community and connecting. And the other part that I found in my own personal growth is that I think accountability, which can sometimes sound like a very negative word, but this being seen-ness. I think that in my life, that accountability and someone checking in and someone, having a connection with someone has been a catalyst for my own growth. And so I wanted to create something within that community where, you kind of have someone, hey, I did the workbook page. Like, how are you doing? How are you checking? It's fun to do it with other people. Having said that, what I found in doing that was successful, but I found that, this work it's pretty deep, it's pretty vulnerable, it's pretty open. I think I've done the course, I continue to do the course, I continue to do my own workbook because I find that it's very transformational. And I have found that a lot of the stuff that comes up is kind of stuff we don't necessarily know, as I mentioned, things in our subconscious, fears we're holding. And I found that at least when I start working with women, that initial kind of one-on-one, the safety that is created within that, I think has been very powerful. I think women feel safe. They feel like it's just, this space for them, and they're able to share, kind of unconditionally without having to filter. And so the way I kind of see it now as I look at it, COVID's hopefully at least becoming less of an issue. Kind of in terms of the group idea, my goal now is to sort of pivot back to events and to have that be kind of my group thing, kind of doing empowered weekends. I know we talked about potentially collaborating, on an event, be it digital kind of or in person. But I think that's kind of the vein that I now see, how I want to kind of empower and help and serve in kind of a collaborative way is to bring women together. Hopefully, in person, but, certainly as a digital option, having more of an event-based thing rather than making kind of 100 Days of You a group program.
You know what? And I'm game for being a part of that because I feel the same way. I really want to go to an event. I miss that. I miss being able to interact with others one-on-one and communicating, and just to be able to listen to a bunch of women talk about this would be, I would love to go to an island and just do this, and all these women together, and it's like we're a week together, and this is it, and just build that up within us again, because I think that a lot of us have lost it. The last 2 years have really taken a toll on so many individuals, and I think we just need to get that energy and those vibrations, that connection, the sisterhood, everything back together again.
I agree, and that's exactly the word I was going to use, which is energy. And I think that even for me in my life, Zoom has been a great option, and having the ability to connect when the world was shut down certainly was a gift. But I think that now that the world has opened up a bit more, I thrive on in-person, even if it's just meeting girlfriends for a drink or, being around my kids. Like, I definitely, that kind of the energy you get from another human being just can't be sort of transmitted in the same way, through a computer. And I think that, when I was younger, when I was in my 30s, I wasn't really raised with kind of an awareness of personal development, personal growth, things like that. And I kind of found myself, seeking out those communities and people that were doing, I don't think I thought at the time I would go on to be one of those people, but I think I was trying to heal and I was trying to understand myself. And I attended a lot of those events, kind of, a 3-day event in Miami, a 3-day event in Las Vegas, a 4-day event here. And I found that so much transformation happens in almost a vortex, because you kind of go into this hotel, you go into this event space, and you're there, you're forming connections, and it's intense, right? You're in it all day, kind of every day. And I just think there's a very brilliant thing that happens. It's almost like you leave who you are, like at the front door when you walk into this event, and then you're in new teachings and new energy and a new version of yourself. And I found for myself and women that I kind of experienced this with, we left different people. And I think that though an hour Zoom call is great, I think going into this kind of environment in kind of a compressed and way, and exactly to your point, you get a variety of, in day one, you might have, you're a speaker, I'm a speaker, I have a friend, who does money mindset stuff, a friend who does EFT and tapping, a friend who's a stylist. And I just envision this, very well-rounded kind of multifaceted experience for women to kind of awaken different parts of themselves and kind of all unify us.
I think that you would inspire so many individuals just to come to this event just by, talking, because that's what you want to do is you want to empower people, and others really want to be empowered. I want to ask you, Jenny, what kind of advice can you give some of our listeners that are just kind of lost right now?
Wow, what a great question. For me, the first thing that came to my mind is to follow your heart. And I think that, it's an interesting niche, because people say, what are you an expert at? And I say I'm an expert at leading women back to their hearts, back to their intuition, back to their own inner guidance. I think that, in COVID, we've all had a lot of time to reflect. A lot of things in the outside world were stripped away from us, kind of going out, traveling, getting together. We were all kind of, in our homes, in our minds, in our own experience, kind of stripped away with a lot of day-to-day comforts. And I think we've all reflected a lot kind of on who are we happy, what do we want? And so my advice would be to kind of listen to that inner guidance that, and that's why I'm not promoting my course, but I do my book. I really believe in it. I really believe in like the tools that I've created to help women for us to trust ourselves again. And I think that we know what we want, we know what we need, and we know what kind of needs to get done to take those steps forward. And I think that in my life, I always want to give, whether it's the people that are closest to me or women that I meet, one-on-one clients, or even people in a group setting, like I really want to give women the permission to dream again, to really say like, this is your one life. And like, there are no boundaries. There are no limits. Like, what do you want? And I think we all have a very clear understanding of what that is. And I think the older we get, the more we're told to grow up and act like an adult. And we have responsibilities and we have, things that quote unquote need to get done. And I think for me, reconnecting to your own heart, to ask yourself in like a quiet moment, like, is this what I really want? Like, what do I need? Like, what am I missing? Like, what do I want? And I think that, the thing I love about my book is it is, every page is the standalone page. It's you can open it, read one page, and be inspired for your day. So it's things like cherish your body, enjoy your curves, make today that day, like do the one thing that scares you. And so it's really kind of, it's written from a perspective of, I believe in you, I see you, and I think there's so much inside of you. And I think that, going back to ourselves and trusting our own instincts would be, kind of my biggest piece of advice.
What is going to be happening next with you? Like, do you have anything you want to share with us?
So I'm actually in a very kind of creation mode right now. As I mentioned, I kind of am inspired by this idea that events can come back to life. I'm very much in the beginning stages of that. I'm kind of trying to figure out what I envision this event to be. Do I want to create a digital event, which obviously is a bit easier to put together? Do I kind of want to hold off on that and put together, an empowered you or empowered woman, kind of weekend conference? And so I'm very much in quite a reflective place. I mean, as I mentioned, I have all these resources, right? My book, my journal, my workbook are all available on Amazon. So, that's one quick way to kind of learn more about me or kind of get a glimpse into my content and kind of what I stand for and maybe be inspired. My book, people love to throw it in their bag every day and take it out and open it up to a random page. And so it really is a guidebook that kind of, goes with you. My 100 Days of You is running, that kind of one-on-one coaching. So there's that going on. And then I think for me, it's even meeting you was such a gift because as we talked about, hopefully we'll be able to collaborate on a lot of things. But, we really talked about like, okay, what is next? What do I want? And I feel like, I want a bigger impact. I really want to have a bigger footprint. I want to reach more women. I want to expand audiences. I want to connect this all together. So I'm trying to kind of, read my own book and say, Jenny, like if there were no limits, then, what would you create? And I think I'm really trying to up-level that. So it's not a great answer. I don't have a lot of specifics, but I think it's a really exciting time where, over the next few months, some really exciting things are going to come from kind of, I have all of the parts. I'm just figuring out kind of the best way to put it all together to help the most women.
And we're going to support you in any way that we can. And I am actually looking forward to doing a lot of collaborations with you this year. I just think that there's so many things that we can do. So Thank you so much, Jenny, for being on my program today. I hope that you come back soon.
I would love to. I'd be honored. Thanks for having me. This has been great, and I'm excited to continue to meet the women in your audience and to see, what magic we can create together.
Me too. Thank you so much. And
Thank
to
you.
all of our listeners, just to let you know, I'm going to be posting all of Jenny's information about her book, about her website, just so that you guys can get a hold of her. I really think that when she was mentioning picking up her book, I think it's really important. It's absolutely amazing. It is available on Amazon. And for all of our listeners, I hope that you have enjoyed today's program. I hope that you take this program, the recording of it, and send it to your friends and family. It's really important that we do that. It's all about collaboration with the Divas That Care. We always want to support our amazing guests that come onto our program, and we support all of our hosts out there. So I want you to check out all of our hosts at divasthatcare.com. Also, I hope that all of you have a fantastic day, and please do something kind. Until next time, everyone.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.